Thank you for joining us. I'm Michael Miller. I'm live with Miami's Community News, and our guest today is Fulvia Barrera. Thank you very much for being here.
I'm happy to be here, Mike.
All right. So, you're a physical therapist. You're a business owner. Got your degree a few years ago. Went back and got your MBA from FIU. Congratulations on doing that as a young adult and doing that. And then you worked for many years for Baptist Hospital. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I worked in Baptist Hospital. I was the director for the rehabilitation unit for the neurological section of the rehab unit. We saw a lot of patients. The majority of our patients were neurological patients, strokes, Parkinson's, MS, brain injuries. So it was a great time, and we helped a lot of people.
You know, for the average person, when they think about physical therapists, they think, oh, I hurt my wrist or I hurt my knee, and let's go and it'll be fun. And the insurance company is paying for it. I'll take off a 30 minutes or an hour and a half and be able to go and get fixed up. That's the way a lot of people have a mindset. But there are plenty of people that have had major trauma in their lives that will like shrivel up, all right, if they don't get qualified health care in that arena. So you did some extra schooling to be able to help the people that have been traumatized, either by stroke or by accident. So tell us what that's like. First of all, your training and what it's like to be able to help somebody that's been really traumatized.
Yeah, physical therapy sees a lot of patients that have different problems with their bones and muscles and the ability to maintain an active life. So they are the orthopedic problems, which everybody's familiar with. You have a total hip replacement, or you have a problem with your hip or your shoulder, and that is part of physical therapy. But also there are the patients that have a stroke, the patients that have Parkinson's, MS, that have a brain injury. They're in a car accident, or something fell over the head, or they broke their bones. Many different aspects of physical therapy that we can help them with. We have an Ndt certification, which we use for our patients that have strokes.
That's the South Florida Rehab Consultants.
Correct.
Right? In Pinecrest, right down the street.
Yeah, yes, exactly. We see patients that are all around our areas. We have a big area in Miami-Dade that we see patients, and we have great results. Our patients really are very thankful for all the help that they get. We train their family members, we train their caregivers on how to assist them on the daily living activities, such as transfers, getting them in and out of the wheelchair, in and out of the car.
So lots of people who've had sports injuries, right, are only slightly familiar with, oh, it hurts to get in and out of a car. But if it's a little more involved, they have to learn how to do that. Remember, put your hand here and your hand here, bend this way, or else, we see plenty of 18-year-olds when they go to bend over, they just like this instead of squatting. And years ago, our insurance companies would send their therapists here and teach us how to pick up boxes to prevent injuries.
Exactly. Right? Body mechanics.
Yes. So, and there are a lot of back injuries that occur. Most Americans throughout the country have back problems.
One of the main problems, yes.
My back hurts. You and your neighbor and me and the neighbor.
Everybody has back pain, yes.
And it makes us think about our ancestors on how we wound up with mostly back problems, with that. Yeah. So lots of times people are not able to get to your facility in Pinecrest. So you do go to people's homes.
Yes. Well, we had an office which we closed down actually at the end of April. And since that time till now, we continue to do patients at homes. We go to the patients' homes. We found out during COVID that a lot of the patients wanted us to go to patients' homes. And we have been doing that off and on. And for some patients that couldn't go to the office, all since the time that we opened our office in 2000. However, since COVID hit, a lot of the patients didn't want to be close to other patients. So or to, to be around other people. So we went to their homes, and it has been fantastic.
So you've adapted as business needs to do to stay in business.
Mm-hmm.
And we look, when McDonald's was created many, many years ago, the advertising, come with your family for a family dinner at our family tables.
Mm-hmm.
And now 80+% of their businesses in the drive-through.
Drive-through, absolutely.
Right. And that's the way it is. I was with somebody who was applying for a zoning change. They wanted to open up a drive-through in the middle of COVID. And she said to the city, who wants to be standing in line at a drugstore with other people that have a cold or COVID? And it was like one of those like, oh yeah, all right. And I don't go to drive-throughs, all right, at least not the drugstores. But you realize, yes, that's what some of the things that have changed in the last couple of years.
Absolutely, yes.
So you go to people's homes, and how do you, in their homes, you don't have the kind of tables and equipment that you had in the center. So what is it you do for the people in their homes?
Well, we have found out that the rate of recovery and the recovery itself is very comparable from being in the office to being at home. We bring weights, we bring the bands, the elastic bands, we bring boards. We bring anything that the patient will need for rehabilitation. And there is an advantage because we are seeing the patient right in their homes. We're seeing the patient how they actually maneuver themselves inside the home and what are the difficulties that they have at home. So really, it has been a win-win situation here.
And you can see in somebody's home, there's steps, right?
Yes.
Many steps, right? Step up, step down. And
we take them to the bathroom. We take them into the shower, out of the shower. Like I said, we train the caregiver. We take them into the car, anything that they need. And, it has been very beneficial for them.
It's interesting. So in that part of the business, you're out there and you're touching and you're feeling, you're helping them. On the other hand, you have telehealth, which is don't bother coming in. All right. I'm going to try to figure it out on the phone or on the computer. So you have both those things that are going on. We know as human beings that so often we want to be touched by, right, people, and that touch, whether it's a hug or a kiss or holding hands, how healing that is for each of us. And right. That it's like so comforting. And so to allow that to go on and then to be in their home, right, where it is comfortable, right? And I know people, they have the manicures come to the house, right?
Yes.
And I know people with the haircuts now, whole lots of changes. And the longer that goes on, the more permanent that really becomes.
Exactly. It's very comfortable for the patient that needs it. We also offer, like I said, we offer physical therapy, but we offer also occupational therapy. We offered speech therapy, and the speech therapy is done mainly through telehealth, now that you mentioned that, because in speech, the therapist have to take off her mask, the patient takes off their mask. And so it's better to do it through telehealth that way. So, we have different options.
So I'm a little hard of hearing. So when I go to the dentist, and they have like 4 different layers, and the hygienist in my teeth, it's only 3 things she asked me: open up wider, left or right. So I guess, right? And she goes, no, the other right. Oh, okay. So, and certainly people do want to see a smile because it certainly helps them feel better. Now, lots of times people wonder about whether providers take insurance or do they take cash, direct payment. Is it called direct payment?
Yes, self-pay.
Self-pay.
A lot of the patients are self-pay. Yes, we do take both. You can call the office if you want to make an appointment. You can visit our website too if you want to make an appointment. There's a form there that you can fill
I think
in.
on the website, I think we're going to have, in just a moment, we're going to have their website address. Very attractive website. It's very active, all right? And it helps people. There's your phone number right there, and as far as the website.
And it tells you a lot of stuff. It has a lot of information there too. But also, we can, whenever you call the office to make an appointment, we'll get your information as far as your insurance. We verify your insurance. We'll let you know what copayment you have ahead of time before you come. And also, if you're self-pay, we have also competitive rates for a person that's paying out of pocket, that they don't have insurance, or otherwise they would like to pay out of pocket.
And you took and you became certified in 2 arenas. Why don't you tell us about those 2?
Yeah, I'm certified in the Ndt treatment, which is a treatment that is applicable for neurological patients.
So NNT is neurological.
Neuro, neurodevelopmental treatment.
Okay.
And that's for patients that have strokes or that have brain injuries. And then I'm also certified in the LSVT treatment, which is a treatment for specifically for Parkinson's patients.
I used to be a registered nurse a long, long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
I worked at Jackson in the early 70s. I know it's hard to imagine that. And there was this young man who had, I don't want to scare you folks, but he got an infection from having some wisdom teeth taken out.
Oh.
They had to operate on him. And I remember he was, with his left hand, he was right-handed, trying to feed himself.
Oh, yeah.
And here it is 50 years later.
Uh-huh.
And I'm still like, not traumatized, but pretty close to it. And I said,
Yeah.
you know, look at Dan Marino. He's up there all the time, but he's got trying to encourage him. All right. But all he was trying to do was that simple thing, be able to get that food into his mouth.
Mhm.
So you treat patients like that.
Yes.
So what is that like for you emotionally when you're trying to help them and their family members?
Well, it is a little difficult to see somebody going through that, but at the same time, the rewards are immense when you see this patient recover, because that's one of the big things about physical therapy. The satisfaction that you get in the patient's recovery. And I have to say, I have very good stories of, a lot of patients that have recovered on all the help that we had provided to them throughout the years.
25, 30 years ago, my father had a stroke and we thought he was going to die. I said, you want to die? You can do that, but you need to do that here in Miami. Went and got him, brought him here. And he started talking, all right? And then all of a sudden he started moving. Yeah, he lived 15 years after that because we made sure that he took rehab and he did that. But we made sure that he was active. Every day I'd send a driver to pick him up. It was with our delivery guys all day long. Occasionally he would like wander off, which is always sort of humorous. And, I put it in the proper light, which was, he's a grown man. He wants.
Absolutely, yes.
And trying to not let that stroke limit him. So
Exactly.
One day I called the cops. I go, listen, I don't know where my father is. He was over at the gym. He's not there anymore. Oh, he must be over at Social Security. He's the guy that must be standing there yelling, wanting his money.
Oh.
So there is hope for a lot of folks that are out there that think on day one that they're not going to recover, right? But
yes.
But you've been in your entire life doing this and helping people. Your satisfaction level must be pretty good as far as what you're doing for yourself and for others.
Exactly. Yeah, we really help a lot of people, and we get up in the morning and we really feel good about yourself. That you're in a profession that you're actually helping people, making others feel better.
All right, let's talk about the inner workings of a rehab center. If you go to a rehab center and there's 20 tables, right, and then there's a patient at every table and there's assistants running around, right, the compensation from the insurance company, is that the same for that as it is for for a therapist that goes into a home?
Yes.
I've never felt like a piece of meat worse than that. When I was in there for some little thing, I'm going, look at this. It's a factory, right? And that was so distressing that I don't care what they did. It'd be like whoever's walking by, oh, you're done. Okay, next thing.
Exactly. And then you have the therapists that see 2 and 3 patients at the same time. That really, you can be very smart, but it's hard to actually deliver the treatment that way. When you go and you see one patient at a time, you actually, you're getting your money's worth for that.
And I think that's what we want, all right? That we want to know that somebody's paying attention to us, all right? And it'd be like if you paid a masseuse, they went from patient to patient.
Yeah.
No. Come back. I want to go to sleep. So hurry up and do this. So back a few years ago when you went to FIU, what was your motivation to get your MBA?
Well, at Baptist, like I said, I was the director of the area. And then I wanted to open my practice whenever the time came around. And so I thought having an MBA would be a good asset to have.
And it is. Tiniest part of the population has that. And as I told my young children, not so young anymore, 15 years ago, it's better to be unemployed with an MBA than unemployed with a bachelor's. And it is in the sense that you rise above, and it says to the world and to yourself, most importantly, hey, I care enough to do this. I think this is something that I need to do to get to this next level. And that's besides what you learn there, but it's really something about yourself and your motivation.
Absolutely. I think it gives you a different look at the world. It really uh, opens your horizons as to how you look at what's going on and where you can go, what you can do, stuff like that.
Yes. So let's say somebody gets a doctor's, is it a prescription for physical therapy,
Hmm.
and they have some sort of trauma. Typically, if they have the standard insurance, maybe Medicare is a good one to do because it's the same for everybody in that arena, and they're going out to the house. How many visits does somebody get?
Well, it depends on what the diagnosis is. When you have a patient, they bring you, they bring you the doctor's script. We always ask for the doctor's prescription, and we go do the evaluation, and at that time we make an assessment and say, well, this might take a few visits, it might take a long time. It depends on what the diagnosis is, because some patients are more involved than others.
So at the end of the reimbursement, if the end of where the insurance company pays, somebody could continue with self-pay at that point.
Yes, if
And
they
it,
desire that.
and that sounds like that would be a good thing to do, especially if the patients see progress. Because
Hmm.
if they haven't learned, and the family may have seen it, but if they don't participate actively, they're not going to make the same kind of progress that they did while a therapist. So, if do you serve all of Dade County?
Yeah, we try to serve as many areas as possible. We serve, like I said, Kendall. We serve Kendall, Pinecrest, Palmetto Bay, Coral Gables, the Grove, Brickell, um, South Miami.
So somebody would call you and say, "Listen, I've been in. I went to my doctor. He says I need a physical therapist."
Hmm.
Do do physicians recommend certain places? Do they give a list, or they just say, "Here, go to a physical therapist"?
Well, sometimes the physicians might recommend a place, but sometimes also, really the insurances are the ones that dictate a lot of place where you go, because if we have a contract with a certain insurance and you are in that insurance, then you want to go to that place where your insurance is going to pay, because if you are out of network for a particular provider like us, then you might have to pay out of pocket. So it just depends on what insurances the different providers. Uh,
So some people, in this case, some patients might be really rambunctious, and others, are good. So you've learned to deal with all sorts of patients,
oh yeah,
from ones that are very aggressive to other ones that go, I
yeah.
don't know.
Most patients are very grateful. They're very. I mean, I guess they might be rambunctious about something else, but I mean, I cannot tell you that I have never experienced that. But for the most part, we have, the patients are very, very good.
So if somebody has like a bone issue, they had some work done on their knees, typically, how many sessions does it typically take before they go, oh, I think this might be working?
Well, they should feel some improvement right away. 2 or 3 sessions, they should feel improvement.
And the reason we as human beings don't do that ourselves is what?
Well, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you don't know. You know that you have the patella there and you have a bone that's down there, but you don't know the intricacies of how everything is connected, or where your different areas of the knee are, or the different areas of the body. So it's kind of difficult sometimes. With my husband, he asked me, "Oh, should I put a cold pack or a hot pack there?" You know,
Is that the question that
should
we
I
all ask?
stretch? It depends.
Straighten your leg. Isn't that what got me in the problems in the first place?
Exactly. Stand up straight.
So lots of things that people can do. And speaking of standing up straight, there frequently we see some people, go to the store and they buy a strap that helps pull back their shoulders like this.
Hmm.
And I catch myself all the time humping over for whatever those reasons are. But when we start to do that, that becomes the norm. So that the muscles aren't used to it. So if you were going to recommend some exercise for people, just for feeling better
Hmm.
that they could do at their home or walking down the street? What might be some of the simple things that they could do to feel better about themselves?
Well, posture is one thing that is great to start with, and there's a lot of exercises that you can do aligning yourself. And I think that you have to become more aware of your posture uh, to start with. Okay, you can look at yourself in the mirror and you can see, what your alignment is. Your head aligned with the shoulder, and so you just need to be more aware of that. There are a lot of other exercises that you do to maintain the range of motion. Exercises to maintain your strength. Walking is a great exercise if you're able to walk. The bike, you know, you just need to keep yourself active.
Yes. So you've been involved with people and helping them for many years. If you could push a button right now in the health
Mhm.
arena,
Mhm.
what would that you could make that happen, whatever it was? What might that be? It's not connected to money.
Not connected to money. Okay. Well, I think right now there's so many health, insurance companies and so many different plans and so many different things. And I think that a lot of the elderly population has so much difficulty going through all of that. It's such a maze to do that, that the getting to a healthcare provider is difficult. I think that we need to simplify things for everyone.
So what I'm hearing in there, people need an advocate to help direct, because if you've never been there before, who do you go to help direct? And as soon as you're talking to somebody who's trying to sell something, they're selling
Hmm.
their product, all right? And so if I was going to push it in the health arena, it would be provide direction for more people and access to that in a much simpler way. Somebody could call up without getting frustrated, all right, without having to go through a maze of, hold for 30 minutes or trying to figure out how to send an email, because so many people get frustrated and go away. And the studies have been done with shopping carts on sites. How many people in the 60% ish, right,
Hmm.
have started the cart and stopped
Oh,
for
wow.
whatever those reasons are, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of it is, am I doing it right? Because if you're not a regular shopper, and whether you're shopping for insurance or shopping for whatever that product might be, people get frustrated. And we see that when you're trying to reach a medical facility, healthcare facility, it's for the most part pretty terrible. All right.
Hmm.
And on hold, transfer here, transfer there, we'll get back to you, email, blah, blah, blah. So it is, the healthcare industry certainly is shifting a lot. And we know there's
Hmm.
a couple new hospitals that have chains that have come in here. Stewart came down here, and Caralty, big hospital groups. And I
Hmm.
think they're going to bust this up, and they're going to be able to provide new care. I heard a story this morning where Caralty is now providing interns or internships for
Hmm.
some of the local schools. And they said, quite frankly, they said, we hope that they stay with us. So we see this
Hmm.
growth is there. Maybe they'll be able to bring something new, to the picture. So
In
here,
that vein, I want to say in our office, we're very small and you will always get a live person answering your phone calls. You're not going to get any waiting anywhere here or anything like that.
your wait call is 24 minutes. You hear that all the time. And you go, that's for healthcare, right?
Hmm.
It's interesting to happen. I was going to a regular doctor. COVID came. Okay, blah blah blah. So I call. Months later, they go, well, he's only in the office one day a week. The rest is on telehealth.
Oh,
And I
yes.
go, no, and it's not available for 2 months. I go,
For two
no,
months. Yeah.
that doesn't work. All right. First of all, I'm not waiting 2 months.
Hmm.
Second, all right, I'm not doing that because I want him to look at me. All right. And I really want this, even though it may not need that. And I went and I found somebody else. They
Hmm.
answered the phone. And that was
Hmm.
the first thing. Will they answer the phone or put it to the maze? So I think that's a wonderful thing to do to show people that you really care.
Hmm.
So I did want to share, years ago, I went to a cardiologist, and I lay down a thing. He puts his hand on my shoulders. Hey, what's going on? I instantly felt better.
Hmm. Yeah.
I know you must hear that all the time.
Yeah, well, they're happy to see us when we get in there.
Yes.
They know that we're going to try to help them.
And so here we go with the healthcare, now it's all sort of mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that a lot of people are having anxiety, mental health issues. We know that suicides are way up, mental health really bad. 100,000 people a year die from overdoses, up significantly. Smoking is up for the first time in 20 years. Calls to stop smoking clinics have plummeted, right? Because people are looking to feel better, just to emotionally survive. So as we go through this, I wonder how often somebody's physical state is because of all the emotional trauma they're having.
Yeah, well, we really don't encounter a lot of that. A lot of the patients that come to us do have something that actually physically something happened to them. Yeah, when you have I don't know, unless they, their blood pressure will raise up so badly that they will get a stroke, or they're so upset that they could get into an accident or something like that. But what we see is the outcome of it.
Yes.
We see the physical aspect of it.
So on your satisfaction level in providing patient care, either you directly or through the
staff,
people, staff, you must be feeling pretty good about your life and how you are affecting humanity.
Yeah, well, I do. I think that there are different kinds of jobs, and there are jobs that you look for some satisfaction to impact the community, and you can, when you're doing something financial, you have some satisfaction when you help somebody buy a house and stuff like that. But my satisfaction comes from, I see a patient that wasn't able to walk before. Now they're able to walk. A patient that was in bed that wasn't able to get out of the bed, go to the bathroom, or a patient that was limping because their knee hurt, or somebody that their back was hurting. They have stenosis. I mean, we don't fix the stenosis, but we fix the pain and the postural problems that they have with it. So we do make a big difference.
There's certainly a feeling that one gets from folks that are in the health arena, right? There's something about it, right? And if somebody's a social worker or a direct healthcare giver, that there's the humanity shines on your face, right? And so my hat's off to you for spending your career doing this.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we're going to wrap it up here. And folks can get, if they want to reach Fulvia Barrera at South Florida Rehab Center, the address, right, the web address is there. There's a phone number. They can call you. They can go on the website. They can find out information, right?
Correct.
And people come to your house after talking with you, figuring out what the next step would be with them.
Correct.
Okay, terrific. Thank you very much for being here and for what you do for our community.
Thank you.
And folks, thanks again for joining us at Live with Miami's Community News, and Andres for producing the show. Have a great day.